Hey, good morning again, options traders. Happy Friday to everyone. And this is a special video for all of the covered call traders. What is the roll up and out trap? So many of you who do covered calls have heard about rolling up and out and may in fact even do it. But there is a possible trap if you're not aware of it. And so I want to show you what the trap is and one way to avoid it. So let's go find out more. And as always, before we do, please be sure to click like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated and helps so much to promote the channel. So let's kick it off with a quick review of a covered call. Remember, this is a strategy where you're going to buy 100 shares, or you could already have them in the account, and then you will sell a call. And when you do that, you have the potential obligation to sell the shares for the strike price. I like to emphasize that it's a potential obligation because if you just say it's an obligation, people think, hey, that would be great. I'll buy the stock, let's say, for 100. I'll sell the 120 call, and now I have the obligation as if it's guaranteed to be taken away. Well, it's not. It's a potential obligation. The only time you're going to sell those shares is if the long position exercises. And that's only going to happen if the call is in the money. So just remember it's a potential obligation. So for instance, let's say that the stock is 100 and you sell a 30-day $100 call and you collect $3 for it. And if you do that, this is the resulting risk graph. So there's our bend at 100. I talk about that every time. Every risk graph will bend at every single strike. So in this instance, we have only one strike, so we get one bend, and we have a maximum gain of $3. No matter how high that stock price goes, above the strike, that's the most that we can make. However, in exchange for that, we do have unlimited downside risk. That's why it's important to make sure that you are willing to assume that downside risk before you step into a covered call. But now let's say that at expiration, or even before expiration, that the stock rises, let's say, to 105. It doesn't really matter what price, it's just that the option has gone in the money. And so now at expiration, that call would be trading for $5. So if you want to buy it back, you would have to spend $5. And this is where the trap begins, because traders will say, yeah, I was willing to let the shares go at 100 when I sold this call, but now that the stock's at 105, I'm kind of wishing I hadn't done that. Let me buy it back and I'll sell a new call against it. So to continue holding the shares, what they will do is generally roll up and out at expiration. And here's the logic behind it. At a minimum, remember you're at expiration, so if you want to hold these shares, you don't want them to get called away or to get assigned, that at expiration you're going to have to roll out to a longer expiration date, even if you want to keep the same strike. So when we use the word out, we are going out in time. So if we originally sold the May, maybe we want to now sell the June. That's rolling out. However, remember in this example, the stock has gone up. So we probably, to make it easier to continue holding these shares, would probably want to roll up to a higher strike. If we're hoping that that stock is going to fall below it so that we don't lose those shares, we'd like to also have a higher strike. So in the language of options, we would be rolling up and out. We're rolling up to a higher strike and we're rolling out in time. So if you recall in the example, we had a 30-day at-the-money $100 call trading for $3. And now we have to buy it back for $5. Well, assuming that the at-the-money was $3 last time, barring any skews or small differences in cost of carry, if we sell a new 30-day at-the-money call, it should trade for about $3. But now we're going to sell the 105 call. We originally sold the 100, we're rolling up to the 105, but we're just going out another 30 days. We're rolling up and out. But if I do this, I can see that I have to pay $5, and then I'm going to collect $3 for this new call. So the net debit would be $2. So what happens a lot of times, traders say, well, I don't want to pay a debit. So to avoid that debit, they roll to an even longer date. And this is what sets the trap. Because if you want to go out further in time to eventually make this a credit, you have to remember that time is against you because of this square root pricing that we've talked about so many times before. The basic idea is that you have to go out 4 times as much time to double an option's price. So now you might have sold a 30-day option. Now you're going to have to sell one much further out in time if you're going to try to offset this debit. So remember that the square root pricing says that you must sell 4 times the time to get 2 times the price. And that's again what sets this trap. So watch this. Let's say that the current $100 call, remember, is $5. That's what you have to spend to close it out. Stock's at 105, we're at expiration, we have to spend 5. We look at a pricing model, it says that a 30-day 105 call is worth $3.15. So if I sell this call, it's not enough to offset that $5 debit. So now I look to maybe a 60-day call, and a pricing model says it's worth $4.45. Getting close, but still not enough to offset this debit. So now I look to the 90-day call, trading for $5.45. I go, after commissions, it's basically going to be a wash. So let me go out some more. And then traders will look to the 120-day call, and pricing model says it's worth $6.29. And so traders will go, okay, if I have to spend 5 to close out my current call, I can roll to the 120-day $105 call. I'm rolling up and out, and look at this. I can get this nice, beautiful $1.29 credit. Well, okay, that's true, but watch what's happening. See, now your risk graph has shifted the bend to 105, and your maximum gain has increased from 3. That was the original maximum gain when you sold the 100 call. You've now picked up $1.29, so 3 plus $1.29 is $4.29. So now you've squeaked out an extra $1.29, but you've gone so much further out in time. And now let's say the stock continues to run through that strike. We could do different scenarios. I could make it go $5 in the money like last time, but just to speed up the process here so you can see the trap, let's say that the stock goes to 115. And now you're in the same dilemma. You go, wow, this thing's really taking off. I don't want to lose these shares. Let me try to extend the time. So now at expiration, the 105 call with the stock at 115, that call is trading for 10. So now you're thinking, gee, I got to pay $10 to close this call. So what do most traders do? Well, again, they roll out even longer. So the current 105 call, remember, is trading for 10. Pricing model says that the 30-day 115 call, this is the new at the money. Remember, the stock's at 115. Pricing model says is worth $3.45. The 60-day is $4.87. So neither of these are going to offset that $10 debit. So traders say, well, let's look to the 90-day. Now that's trading for $5.96. Still not going to offset it. 120-day, $6.89. 330-day is $11.40. And they say, okay, I can sell this 330-day option for $11.40. I have to pay $10 to close out the current one. And look at this. Yay, I get another big credit of $1.40. Well, sort of, but you've got to now wait 330 days. You're not going to get assigned early. And so now your risk graph looks like this. We put the bend at 115. Your maximum gain is now 569. The stock is right here at 115. So your maximum gain now over the next 330 days is 569. See, when you started the journey here, you had a 30-day option that was going to generate 3. Now you've gone out over 10 times as much time, and you've picked up another $2.69. And this becomes the trap, is that traders just keep going out in time if the stock continues to rise, and eventually they might even bottom out. They might end up selling a leaps option that's 3 years out in time for a fairly small potential gain, keeping in mind that you are holding all of the downside risk for, let's say, the next 3 years for this small gain. And if the stock continues to run, your account is going to benefit zero. You get zero benefit for the next, let's say you've gone out to 2.5 or 3 years out. And the only way you're going to get out of that is to just cough up the money and buy it back. And again, if traders don't want to do that, or maybe they're in an IRA and they don't have the money, can't make the contribution to buy that call back, they are stuck. They have to just sit here for the next 2.5 or 3 years to pick up a very small potential gain. And so that becomes a very big trap that traders overlook if you want to kind of change your mind and say, well, now I want to hold the shares, but I don't want to pay these debits. Now, mathematically, it turns out that it doesn't really matter if you pay a debit, but I'm coming at it from the perspective of most traders. They just don't want to do it, so they try to extend the expirations until they can get credits, and it can set a very big trap. So one of the best ways to avoid the trap is to understand your options and your strategies. And so one way, not the only way, is to, instead of selling a call, sell a vertical spread. So in the first example, you sold the 100 call. Well, maybe you could sell the 100 but buy the 105. That's a credit spread. You're selling the lower strike call. We know lower strike calls have to be worth more money. It's a credit. So you're going to get a credit just as if you had sold this 100 call by itself. It's just not going to be as big of a credit because you have to spend some of that credit to buy the 105 call. So let's say that instead of $3, you get $2. So again, your credit will be smaller, but the benefit is you have unlimited upside potential. So if we go back to the very first example where we bought the stock at 100 and you sold the 100 call for 3, let's now instead sell the 100-105 vertical for a credit of 2. And if we do that, this becomes our risk graph. So there's that $2 right there. It'd be if that were a covered call, would be the maximum gain. But notice that that's just between the strikes. Once we get to 105, that 105 call is now gone. You're now short a call and long a call, so they cancel, and then you're still left with the shares. So now you still have this unlimited upside, and you still can generate credits just as if you were doing a covered call. So I wanted to bring that up because with the recent rallies we've been seeing in the markets, some of them quite unexpected and pretty strong rallies, I've received a lot of emails from traders about this. And I say, hey, I've got this little problem here. I sold this call. It's gone in the money. I now want to hold the shares, but I don't want to pay a big debit to buy that short call back. What can I do? And usually they're saying, well, let me just keep selling something further out. And yeah, that might be okay for the first time. Instead of selling a 1-month option, you sell a 3 or a 4-month option. But if you keep doing that, and if at any one of those times the stock makes a fairly big move, you are going to very quickly be selling 2- and 3-year options just to try to make those debits into credits. So make sure that you understand the trap before you start opening that door, and also understand there are alternatives if you understand your options. And for anyone who'd like to learn more about the art and science of options trading, please check out the Alpha Trader course, Strategy Lab, and a Candlesticks and Technical Analysis course. You can find it all at optionsatoz.com. Also, please join us on Options A to Z's Facebook trading group, and you can find a link in the description below.